Hello, I've decided to start a new series, and since it's Christmas, I thought I'd do something a bit different and give you something that's actually pretty good, aside from some awkward English, which is self-admitted. Sorry, a bit some feedback. I'm doing Super Sentai versus Super Sentai. Which is the inspiration for Super Sentai vs. Power Rangers, which I abortively attempted to cover earlier this year. Yeah. Disclaimer, I do not own any of the Super Sentai franchises, they belong to Toei. Author's note, I suppose I shall give my shot for another epic of a fic. Hopefully I will be able to pull this off. Well, if reviews are any indication, you probably succeeded. This is based on the various versus Super Sentai movies. Rather than team meets up with various single people from previous teams, the premise here is more or less take single members of several Sentai teams and make them into one new team. I hope I can fill them up. Well, just as long as you can think of some good ideas for chemistry, I'm sure or you can pull it off. Also, English isn't my first language, so please don't over nitpick. It's a lot better than most English I've seen in people who have English as a first language. But first, exposition time. Prologue. Earth has existed and prospered for a very long period. However, it also became a target of various factions that sought conquest, be they Black Cross, Crime, Agos, Vader Clan, Black Magma, Death Dark, Jashinka, Gia, Gosma, Mess, Tube, Vault, Boma Tribe, Zone, Vyram, Bandora Gang, Goma, Yokai, Baranoia, Bozok, Neji Valband, Saima Clan, Londa's Family, Org, Jakanja, Evolian, Alienizer, Inferja, Negative Syndicates, Rinjuken and Genjuken School, Gaiark, and the latest one, Kedoshu. However, each of them were fought by a task force group called Super Sentai. Yeah, you put group singular there. Yeah, I'm not going to be overly nitpicking. As time passed, abnormalities between these battles were formed. During a battle against negative syndicates, a man named Aka Red made his appearance. With the ability to change between the powers of the members of Super Sentai with the colour red. That sounds like it could be implied somewhere else. Maybe a rider with the same abilities? Nah, I'm probably thinking too hard of this. He helped the current Sentai team Bokend as well as a group of past warriors too in battle. Yeah, it's wrong form of two, but whatever. While he vanished in the end, there are more than meets the eye from Aka Red. Aka Red came from a dimension fueled with the battles of Super Sentai. He has 5 allies: Owl Blue, Kuro Black, Ki Yellow, Momo Pink, and Mido Green, and one mentor figure, Shiro White, and which unfortunately means that all the various purple and orange Sentai heroes who've cropped up in recent years don't have representatives, nor do any of the gold and silver ones for that matter. The team fought against Emperor Ryufasil. Maybe if I rearrange the letters, it probably means something. In a long and grueling battle, as more Sentai came victorious, the power of Aka Red and his teammates grow even more and eventually topple Ryufasil. However, they were never able to destroy Ryufasil completely. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing this correctly. As long as there is evil in the hearts of humans, he will be able to return. Ooh, ominous. To counter this, after his encounter with the Bokengers, Aka Red proposed to his teammates to separate the keys to the seal of Ryufasil into 2 pieces and put them inside the universe of Super Sentai. These 2 pieces are unique that only select Super Sentai teams could see or use each. The first piece can only be seen by the teams from Go Ranger to Jetman, while the other one can only be seen from Jew Ranger and beyond. So in essence, he's divided it between and the 2 eras that Super Sentai has existed in. However, those who can see the first piece cannot activate it. The same goes to the other one. It means to make sure a piece of Ryufasil's soul are never found and activated. During the war between the Shinkenger and the Gedoshu, an abnormality enters the world of Sentai. This abnormality is one they call Kamen Rider While Decade left the Shinkenger world after his deeds are done, this dimension-hopping action slightly cracked the seal of view for Syl, enough for him to send parts of his power to the world. Okay, time. I better get this out of my system while I'm here. 1, 2, 3. Another Decado! Okay, I just did a rather blatant joke there, but let's move on. With view for Syl's essence entering the Super Sentai universe and went unnoticed. Okay, I wonder how, but I assume it will be explained later. It is only a matter of time until a chaos in grand scale engulfs and will decide the fate of the Super Sentai. And now, after a battle against Gadoshu concluded. Okay, now on to chapter 1, which will feature a... Yes, I am going to be using this thing in my toy collection to make some sounds. And you better get used to it. Act 1, The Samurai from the Future. It's been 6 months since the defeat of Chimatsuri Dokuku. The Shinkengers went their separate ways, and in spare time, the current head of the Shiba clan, Shiba Takaru, alias Shinkenred, has gotten a calm, but steady life, creating self-crafted origami which he usually kept, but sometimes sent out for charity. Wow, that's a lot to unpack. It was afternoon. He was just done with the lunch for today. Thanks for food, Taku says he put his plate down for the Kuroko to take away. My lord, are you taking a rest? Asked his respected elder, Guzakabe Hikoma, as he got up. Yes, I'll just take a short nap. Taku replied as he got up and retreated to his quarters. He then lay down on his sleeping mat. I've lost my place now. Looking at the ceilings, he reminisced of the past. It sure has been less lively here, he muttered. Once again remembering his past battle, he reminded himself the good moments he spent with his teammates, be it Ryunosuke and Genta's over-the-top antics, Chiaki's determination to surpass him, Meiko's caring nature and horrible cooking, Kota's sincerity, and his new mother, Kaoru, and her gentle self. It was a short time, but for Takaru, those times were the best he ever had. Until, however, one figure crossed his mind. Kadoya Sakasa, one called Kamen Rider Decade. The moment this character crossed his mind, Taku started feeling nauseous. He didn't hate the man or anything, but for some reason, Taku felt that their meeting was no mere normal meeting of Shinkenred and the Kamen Rider just passing by. Decade, one who travels between universes. Taku buried himself in deep thought. He's not just a normal warrior. Could it be? It's some sort of premonition. For long after thinking about him and the related events, Taku slowly fell asleep. ... But the sleep didn't last long, as the house radar rang several times, waking him up. What? Has the Gadoshu returned already? Taku thought as he quickly got up and made his way to the main hall. Gee, what is that? Taku asked Hikoma. Don't tell me the Gadoshu. I'm afraid so, my lord. Hikoma said as he opened the paper that came from radar. The Gadoshu have been spotted in this district. We do not know how powerful they'd be without Chimatsuri Dokuku's leadership, but best be careful. I know. Taku nodded as he quickly rushed off to the site. His days of peace was interrupted. But the determination to defeat Gadoshu hasn't left him since the final battle. He was tasked with protecting the world from Gadoshu as the 19th head of the Shiba house. He would not fail this one. Nanshi Renju had begun their attack towards the innocents, led by a rooster-like Ayakashi. Burn, maim, and kill them all, he yelled, telling the Nashi Renju to attack any humans that go near them. Even without Dokuku, this doesn't mean the Gadoshu have lost, and I, Basatsu, will be able to take. Too bad for the Ayakashi, but his boat is interrupted by the gongs of the Kuroko, signifying that Taku arrived. But as far as you go, Gadoshu. Shinkenza, Basatsu yelped in panic. However, you noticed the unusual scene of Taku being alone. Alone? Do you think you can defeat me? Don't get so cocky, Grat. Gadoshu, underestimating one samurai will cost your life, and I will show you that. Taku calmly replied as he pressed his phone. Shorophone, it's Sojo! He started ochre brushes writing the kanji fire. In an instant, Taku was covered with his Mojikawa and morphed into Shinkenred Shiba Takaru.
Watch this short video.
Sorry about that, as an ad I'm probably going to have to stop recording until it's finished. Okay, and now he's back. Damn it! Nananshi Renju! Basatsu ordered all his soldiers to attack Shinken who proceeds to slash them one by one using his Shinken Maru with small effort. Slight tense trouble there. Grr, I'll crisp you! Or is this a new paragraph? Out of desperation, Miyakashi spread his wings and breathed fire to Shinken. He managed to dodge the flames, much to the frustration of the monster. Is that it? Shinken taunted me. I fought many things worse than this. What? My flames have no effect? Impossible! Basatsu stomps the ground in frustration on hearing Shinken's taunt. To be honest, your flames hit me a bit, Shinken nonchalantly said, looking at his right shoulder, which is slightly charred thanks to fire. This brought excitement to Basatsu for a while, until Shinken casually brushed it off. But it just feels like a scratch to me. Habakidoshu grew this week. Grew is not the word I'd use there, but Are you mocking me? There's an exclamation mark after the question mark. Shinken sighed. While this would mean that his job might get easier, he was hoping that it would be more of a challenge, since the battles thus far remind him with the time he spent with his allies fighting monsters to save the world. That's not what I'd use a whip. Can't complain, it's also part of my mission after all. He thought he inserted his common disc to his Shinken Maru. Mecha Daizanto! The huge flaming Zambato enlarged, the blades covered in flame. This ends now. Ow! With that yell, Shinken dashed to Basatsu and cleaved it clean. However, surprisingly, it still managed to keep itself in existence. Damn it! Can't lose like this! He stood against a clean cut from Mecha Daizanto. You're a tough one, I give you that. Shinken looked at his opponent struggling, however he had no intention to let it go. Too bad that this isn't all I got. Just as he said that, the sky suddenly turned dark. What is this? Shinken looked above as he saw the sky slowly turning from merely dark into a very strange combination of colour. Thunders started to strike here and there, and eventually the ground shook. That should be lightning. An earthquake? Shinken and Basatsu struggled to keep their balance as the quake and the strange sky sent the people into panic. Several minutes later, the phenomenon ended. Shinken caught his breath for a short time, looking at the Ayakashi that still struggled to keep his balance from both the quake and the wounds he got from the battle. He decided to waste no more time as he had many things to discuss with the whole Shiba house about the strange sky. He turned the Mecha Daizanto back to a normal Shinken Maru and placed the common disc with the Shishi disc. This is the end, Gadoshu, Shinken exclaimed as he ran to Basatsu, just managed to get back to his feet. Shishi disc, Kaien no Mai. That translates as lion disc, dance of raging fires. He slashed the air, creating a crescent-shaped fire launched at Basatsu, cutting through and utterly destroying it. That was quick. Now to wait for the second life to kick in. Shinken waited, preparing his Shishi Origami nearby to perform the Origami Dai Henge and fight the Ayakashi's second life. 10 minutes later, still no sign of Basatsu coming back to life. What the? Shinken murmured as he realised that he'd waited 10 minutes in vain. Whatever happened to the Ayakashi's second life? Where did he waste it? I'd say this is a reference to Akiba Ranger, but this came first. Instead I call it good predictions. Several minutes later, he decided to conclude that the Ayakashi was dead for good. He sheathed back his Shinken Maru and walked away. This brings this chapter to a close. Taku walked back to the Shiba household. However, something was slightly amiss. When he approached the gate, the household was empty. There was no Kuroko in sight. The Kuroko are not here? And Taku entered the main hall. There was no sign of Hikomu either. G? He called out. There was only signs of him. Taku calmly searched the house, but slowly the calm within him turned into worry as he kept searching. There was nobody in the house. Where did everyone go? To make matters worse, some of his inventories, such as the Inro Maru, were gone. Don't worry, this will get explained. What kind of phenomenon is this? Who's making everyone vanish? Taku thought he returned to the main hall, which eventually noticed that there was a strange book that he had never seen in his entire life. Taku picked it up and started to read its title, History of Super Sentai. What had happened in this world? Where did the Kuroko and the rest of the Shiba household residents go? Does it have anything to do with this book Taku just found in his house? Super Sentai versus Super Sentai. We'll continue at Act 2. Author's note, try to install many Shinkenger's elements inside. I hope it doesn't turn out bad. At any rate, this chapter starts kind of slow, but this is the gateway of things to come. Remember, this is meant to be a crossover, so I hope you'll keep on reading and waiting for the next chapter. You may want to guess who appears in the next chapter, because it's not someone from Shinkenger. Note 2. History of Super Sentai similar to Super Sentai Dress Book, which appeared in the Bokenger vs. Super Sentai movie. While it's similar, it's actually different. You'll see in the next chapter. Okay, and to pad this video out a bit, I'm going to be doing the other half of this story. Super Sentai vs. Super Sentai Another, their first chapter, which will be focusing on the other Red Ranger named Takaru. Yes, they've used the name twice, but then they've used the name Kenta twice and the name Akira 4 times, including also in Maskman for both. And speaking of Maskman, they're our team, so I'll just play the sound as I've ruined it. Author's note was the story of another team similar to my Super Sentai vs. Super Sentai. That wasn't obvious from the title. So I do have planned this from the very beginning, otherwise why would I call it Super Sentai vs. Super Sentai? While Taku Shinkenger has amassed his own team, another team is being amassed. For what purpose unknown, which we shall uncover in time. By the way, this pick is going to be very similar in structure, except with different people and scenarios, of course. I hope you enjoy. Once again, I'll put up another disclaimer. I own nothing. Toei owns pretty much everything, except this fic. Chapter 1, The Aura Fighter Returns. I'm skipping a prologue since we've already looked over it. The Tube Empire has been defeated, and under Princess Mio, it returned to its peaceful roots. Those who defeated the Tube Empire and Maskmen returned to their normal lives while the group was officially disbanded, though not the Sugata racing teams that allowed many people to have their jobs that didn't have anything to do with fighting. Akira, the Blue Mask, returned to his home village to reunite with his mother, showing how he has matured. At any rate, he was also ready to resume the school years that he skipped in order to become a masked man and protect the world. That must be a very generous school to let him back in after he's dropped out like 1-2 years ago. Haruka, the Yellow Mask, also returned to her ninja village. Her achievements impressed the other ninjas, and she was soon heralded as one of the best ninjas in the village. Kenta, the Black Mask, answered the call of his old friend from the Sun Racing Team, and he rejoined them, although with heavy heart, leaving the Sugata Racing Team that the masked men used to belong. I suppose there's the two missing there. Don't worry, Kenta, you'll soon make some new friends, you ends on your old racing team, you goddamn cheat. I probably could have come up with a better word than cheat there, but I was just trying to reference the CS Central fan sub by shoehorning in that line. Thankfully, both racing teams eventually end up as fast allies thanks to his connections. The only people that remained in the Sugata racing team from the Maskman team were the commander, Sanjuro Sugata himself, along with Takaru the Red Mask and Momoko the Pink Mask. And yes, none of the masked men have surnames. Why do you ask? Two former masked men resumed their place in the racing team, Takaru being the main driver, while Momoko led the new mechanic team, with Sanjuro managing the team. A year has passed since the final battle. One day, the Sugata racing team was arranged to have a training session with another racing team in order to prepare for a big race event which also involved the Sun racing team. So, isn't that just sharing your tactics with the enemy, or are they allies? I'm confused, I know nothing about racing. Both Taku and Momoko were inside a small restaurant eating together to prepare for their latter training. Wow, the meat smells good, Taku noticed at his food as he started cutting it down with his knife. How do you know about this place? Oh, that, one of my trainees showed me back then, Momoko said. He's fairly new, so I just know this for a short time. Yeah, you can tell English is his first language, but again, I'm letting it slide since the quality of the storytelling is still pretty good. In a sudden, she sighed. This seems familiar. What's wrong, Momoko? Taku asked, looking at her slightly sad face. You don't look too well. Nothing really. I'm fine, Momoko answered, but her tone of voice couldn't hide, but she did feel sad over something. Again, this is feeling slightly similar, something to do with a shadow of the Super Sentai world. For some reason I'm expecting the Jetman to walk in here any second. Your voice is light, Taku noted. What are you feeling now? Alright, I guess I can tell you, Momoko said, looking at the restaurant scenery on her side. There were several empty spots, including one that could hold 5 people. Taku, it's been like a year, right? Huh? Oh. Taku also looked at where Momoko was looking. Just then he saw some sort of imagination, implying that he doesn't have any of his own. Table for 5 was seated with him and the rest of the masked men, eating and sharing jokes together, laughing and spending their good time together. Slight redundancy there. Just then, the imagination shattered, bringing him back to real life, where several people eventually took a seat there. And since this type of scene happens in theatrical movies, I half imagine but those people sitting there look like the Flashmen. Because why not? Right, it's been a while, Taku noted, reminding to his friends. Everyone's doing okay, I suppose. I miss them, really, Moka said, her tone suddenly getting sadder and sadder. I'll admit that our battles as Maskman was a harsh one, but it's also the best to be with our friends together. And now, we had to separate to our own lives together. Momoko, Taku stopped her from saying any further by holding her hands on the table. It's alright, you'll learn to let go eventually. But Takeru, Momoko tried to insist. Once again she was stopped. Remember me and Mio? Takeru said, reminding his former lover that he had to separate with due to their conflicting duties. Something that the author of the other fic I was thinking of just now doesn't understand. And given what I've read about the rest of the fic, it was hard for me to forget about our love, but I managed to do it. If I can let go, you can as well. Momoko, believe me. Takeru, Momoko smiled, glad to hear such encouraging words from Takeru, until her arm suddenly touched a plate that contained her food. It was less hot than usual. Oh dear, we talked so much food might get colder. Oh man, alright, let's eat, Takeru quickly said as eventually both of them started eating. Slowly but surely the time as a masked man will soon be left only as a memory. And that generally insinuates that it's about to start up again. The training race went well and Taku was able to defeat his training opponent. Oh phew. We didn't miss an action scene that took place prior to that whole restaurant business. Coming out from his F1 car, he shook hands with his training opponent and said, Great Matt, let's meet again at the event. Yeah, let's make the event a bang, the training opponent replied. Both rangers smiled. In the meantime, Momoko, now the lead mechanic of the team, said to her fellow mechanics, Everyone, good job. Keep it up for the event later. The chain was responding with a big cheer. It was truly a happy event that probably couldn't go wrong. But it did. And that's not me being sarcastic, that's actually in the text. Just then, another mechanic came onto the racing scene. His body was battered and wounded, but he still dragged his body to meet the two. Momoko, Takeru. Oh dear, Momoko gasped, realising that it was a mechanic that couldn't make it to the training session. Both seeing Taku approach him, started talking. Shugo, are you okay? What's about his wound? The chief was attacked. He is hospitalized. Before Shugo finished talking, he lost consciousness. Chief, Taku was worried. What could have happened to his chief Sagata? Apparently he's only Taku's chief and not anyone else's. Thank for him, he saw a card drop from Shugo's pocket which contained the hospital's address. Conveniently. At any rate, let's take him there. Chief must be there. Thankfully for Takeru, his instinct was right. The hospital that was pointed in the card was also the place where Chief Sagata was hospitalised. Oh well, it's a good thing he didn't go to that other hospital before going to the one the card came from and buying one there. After sending Shugo to his own room, Taku and Momoko quickly visited their chief. Chief! Both called as Sugata opened his eyes. Takeru, Momoko, he started. How is Shugo? And the others? We're all okay, Momoko assured him. Rosie looked quite sad as he saw most mechanics hospitalised here. Thank goodness, Sugata sighed in relief. Takeru did not have it. Chief, what happened? He asked desperately. Why are everyone here? Who attacked you? I don't think you'll believe it, but Sugata talked, which soon would surprise both of them. It would seem that the remnants of Zaber's reigning tube has begun their move. Remnants? Zaber? Takeru was shocked hearing the news. Previous tyrannical emperor of Tube Empire, responsible of transforming a peaceful empire into a tyrannical one. For thanks to the efforts of Maskman, he was slain and rulership was given back to a rightful heir, Princess Al, restoring peace. For those of you who haven't watched Maskman are confused, Eyal is Mio's real name. Mio was just an alias he took to infiltrate the surface. And as for the Tube Empire, you got me there. I mean, I remember one person joked that it was YouTube. Yet there were some who still desired Zaber's rule. I can't believe it, Momoko muttered. Even with Mio, no, Princess Eyal's rule, there's still some who crave destruction. Shouldn't it be Queen Eyal or Empress Eyal? They probably only know her as a princess, so I assume that I can let that slide. I do not know. Scatter answered, but up to something. Takeru, Momoko, I really don't like asking this, but I have no choice. Please, investigate these events. You don't dislike asking things like that, Chief. Well, do it. Takeru assured him as he politely, let's go, Momoko. Wait a minute, Takeru. She stopped him. Have you forgotten? We're no longer Maskman. The team disbanded, remember? Takeru suddenly stopped and thought that it was truly correct. The team has been disbanded. Perhaps you're right, Momoko. We're not Maskman anymore. Takeru said in disappointment. His voice suddenly became determined. To believe this be, what those remnants do to be innocent. Maskman or not, my heart still burns to protect people from evil. Well said, Takeru. Sugata smiled, just looking at Takeru. Listen, both of you. You're wrong if you think you're no longer Maskman. Eh? Momoko was shocked hearing it. The team may be disbanded, but it doesn't mean your power is gone. Sugata assured them. Why would it? Can you still feel the aura power within you? You can, right? Although training result didn't vanish because of disbandment. Have you forgotten? In a moment, both Takeru and Momoko closed their eyes, trying to feel something deep inside them. To their surprise, yes, they could still feel the aura power. Yes, I can still feel it, Chief, Takeru exclaimed, and Momoko also smiled at learning the fact. Very good, Sugata smiled at the two's new determination. But now you two should go investigate the latest place of the scheme that I heard. Kawase's shore. I'll try to contact Kent and the others so they join you soon. Don't forget your bracelet. You still kept it, right? Yeah, Takeru nodded, reminded that the bracelets were still kept in mind by the fighter's masked man. Then why did he think he had no power? I mean, they still have the suits. Thank you, Chief. We're going. Let's go, Momoko. With that, both of them left the hospital. However, Sugata's face suddenly turned to worry. Be careful, you two. I think these remnants are up to something in a grand scale. Well, it can't be any worse than what the remnants we usually see in Sentai versus films are up to. To eventually made it to the Kawase shore, where the atmosphere was quite empty. Chief said there was scheming here, Momoko muttered, looking around, although she found nobody. Didn't take a long time for several familiar faces suddenly greeted them through an ambush. Seems like that was supposed to be two separate sentences. The Ungla soldiers! Here they are! Takeru exclaimed as both of them fought the Ungla soldiers unmorphed. They were saving strength for the upcoming grand battle. The Ungla soldiers never stopped coming. However, eventually Takeru noticed something approaching behind Momoko. Watch out! Without thinking anything else, Takeru shouted and suddenly tackled her to the ground. In process, another missing definitive article, but something that approached her hit the Ungla soldier that was behind her. It was a ring-shaped beam which bound the soldier and crushed it until it was destroyed into pieces. Are you alright? Takeru asked, not realizing that such forward action caused Momoko to blush. Thanks, Momoko replied. Were there any possible tender moments? Possible. A word that the author of Super Sentai vs Power Rangers does not understand. And when it comes to shipping, were cut off when she looked at the one who did it. Who are you? In a short time, both got up to their feet, greeting one who tried to tag them. I missed. It was never seen before a Dogla monster, as you would expect from the masked man that destroyed Your Majesty's Saber. Why is he calling him Your Majesty if he's not present? You didn't answer the question. Who are you? Takeru repeated the question. I am Space Dogla. The monster introduced himself. He's apparently one of the more intelligent monster, gifted with the ability to speak, unlike most of the Dogla monsters. A fierce beast with spear-like shoulder pads, black armor, and a circular ring shaped like Saturn's ring located still surrounding him. Masked man, today's the day you die, by His Majesty's Zaber's revenge. Oh, do you really think you can take us on? Matt said confidently. Just because we're disbanded? We'll take our power, though we lack the others, Takeru said. We will triumph, and the peace that's been maintained by Princess Eyal to the Tube Kingdom and Earth will be restored. Peace? Ha! Space Dog Hockey said, such wannabe ruler does not understand but pieces of foolish thought. Only chaos and evil should be allowed to exist. You'll eat your words soon, Taku shouted at him and went down to Momoko. Let's do it! Okay! She nodded as both of them stood firm, raised their hands with their rays and shouted, Aura Mask! Both then jumped to the sky. Covered by aura power, they transformed into fearsome warriors that protected Earth before. The Maskman. You can still transform? Space Dog was said in shock as though Taku and Momoko, now under their transformed form, seemed slightly redundant, landed and introduced themselves. Red Mask, Pink Mask. Even though they lacked 3 members, Red Mask needed to finish the call. Hikari Sentai, Maskman. Here goes. With Red Mask commanding, both he and Pink Mask needed to fight against the Ungler soldiers and Space Dogler. Even though there was only the 2 of them, the Maskmen managed to hold their grounds and wiped out a lot of Ungler soldiers. Eventually only Space Dog remained. You're the last one, Pink Mask said. Let me finish this then. Masky Ribbon! Afterwards she released her weapon, the Masky Ribbon. Don't underestimate me, Space Dogler said as giant ring turned to 2 circular spiky rings of death. Now on both hands and he threw them to both masked men. Masky Blader! Red Mask unleashed his signature weapon and both of them gathered their aura power. Using that, Pink Mask captured one of the rings of her ribbon and tossed it aside. In the meantime, Red Mask cut the ring into his blade. Let's do it then, Red Mask said. He prepared his sword. Laser arrow! Covering his sword with energy, he shot the gathered energy towards Space Dogler, damaging it. In turn, Pink Mask leapt and bound the Dogler with her ribbon, then stabbing him with the ribbon handle. Red Mask, now! She called as he plugged out the handle. Nodding, Red Mask ran forward and took a leap, his fist ready. Masky Crush! He covering his sword with power. Eventually, Red Mask delivered a cross slash on Space Dogler's body, which caused explosions here and there, knocking him down. Looks like that's all there is, Red Mask concluded, thinking that the Masky Crush attack defeated him. However, just as he said that, the sky turned dark and was mixed with weird colours. Thunder struck the ground itself rumbled. What's this? Pink Mask tried to keep her balance and fell down to the ground. Pink Mask! Red Mask, still trying to balance herself, tried to help her. However, Space Dog got up one last time. Damn! If I'm going to die, I'll take you with me to hell! Space Dog declared as he ran towards Red Mask, his body exploding here and there, trying to take him out of his body explosion. Watch out! Pink Mask yelled, warning Red Mask. Damn! He shouted. He quickly prepared his fist, coded power. God the hand! With that, he punched the Space Dogler, tending to knock him away before he exploded. However, instead, when his fist came into contact with the Dogler's body, it triggered this explosion. Ah! Pink Mask screamed, thinking that she was caught in the blast. Moments later, nobody was seen ashore except of Momoko alone, untransformed. What happened? When she regained her consciousness, she looked around, trying to recall what just happened. Oh, yes, I was fighting for them to tube with Taku. Wait a minute! Just then she realised something. Taku wasn't around. Takeru? Momoko called out, but there was no response. Where are you, Takeru? She called again and still no answer. She reached out her brace and tried calling him from there. Takeru, where are you? Please answer! While there was no answer, Momoko started to get desperate. Takeru! She called and called, but there was no response. It suddenly dawned to her that the last act he did was punching a Dogler monster that tried to self-destruct. After that, he was not seen again, which would mean he could have died in an explosion. No, it's a lie, right? Momoko, in despair, fell to her knees. Tears couldn't stop rolling from her eyes. Their fears consumed her, thinking that Taku has fallen in battle. You can't be dead. Just moments ago we're together, like friends, and now Takeru. No, you can't! So only moments ago that he was having a good time with Takeru, training for a big event, eating together in leisure like a friend, and in split second, there's a missing A. There, everything was gone in front of her eyes. Takeru was nowhere to be seen since the last time she saw her was him withstanding a self-destruct attack. I think the him should be where the her was and the her shouldn't be there. Big chance that he's slain. Again, that's probably a word missing there, inserted there. Or those thoughts were too much for Momoko to bear. Taku! Somewhere else, however, Taku wasn't dead. He was also on a shore, but there was nobody around. Momoko! He tried calling over his communicator, but there was no response. How can this be? He cursed at the lack of an answer. It's like I'm in another world. Momoko don't die. Extremely worried, he started running off. In a moment, however, he found a book covered in the sands. Picking it up, he started reading its title. History of Super Sentai? What has happened to Takeru? Where has he gone, separated from his friends? What was the purpose of this book he just found? To be continued. Author's note, and yes, I do picked Red Mask on the same purpose because he has the same given name as Shinkenger. There'll be much meaning behind this, but we'll find out later. So, at any rate, it's been confirmed that Taku will be the Red Ranger of his second team. Bad thing is, I'm pretty much set who's going to be in the team. But you can still go ahead and make a guess who's going to be in. Also, poor Momoko. She might not appear for long, but who knows, maybe she'll return as well. At any rate, constructive criticism and reviews. Bring it on. And that's all for today. Like I said, I chose this because I've already read it and thought it was pretty good, as have most of the reviewers who've read it. I think I'm probably either going to continue reading both simultaneously, or just do whichever one I think I can criticize more effectively, depending on how this video does. Anyway, that's all for today. See you next video.